Hey guys, doing well today. In today's video we talk the Blues versus the Chiefs in round 10 of Super Rugby Aotearoa. So this should be a very interesting game, obviously, with both sides wanting to win. I mean, to be fair, the Blues will actually want to win more, obviously, with the Chiefs actually, you can tell by the lineup I'll talk about quickly, but they've rested a lot of players, which is kind of, you could say, predictable in a sense, because the Chiefs have actually made the final. And if you didn't know this, the Chiefs Crusaders will be the final for next week, so it should be an exciting match. But obviously for this match, the Blues versus Chiefs, the Blues are playing at home and they will have home advantage. But yeah, going into this game, originally as a Blues fan, I actually thought we had a chance in actually being in the final. But if you actually look at the table and how the ruling system works, even if the Blues win this game by 5 points, and they could win this game, obviously, that would put the Chiefs and Blues on level points with 20 points. But because the Chiefs have actually won more games from this competition, they've actually automatically gone. They automatically are placed within the final no matter what, even if the Blues win. This week. So yeah, it's just one of those things. As a Blues fan, I was kind of just I actually thought it was going to come down to goal difference because obviously the Blues do have a better goal difference at this time. It's just one of those unfortunate things. But yeah, we'll see how the Blues go obviously within this game, and hopefully they can try to win their last game and bring that on to the next competition, obviously against the Australian sides. Anyway, I'll go over the lineups right now. Yeah, here are the lineups, obviously. I'll run them by with you guys, tell you what I think about them, and yeah, I'll give my prediction right afterwards. So obviously with the Blues, they actually have gone with a stronger side, obviously, compared to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are resting a lot of players. But when you do look at the Blues side, they do have the likes of Carlton Mafe as well as Nipo Lalala at those prop positions, which is kind of good to see. That is kind of their, I'd say, their main props in the sense, who's kind of started most of the games for the Blues this season. But you do have the likes of Olinois as well as Mafaleho, obviously, for the Chiefs. Wouldn't say that that's their, again, it's not going to be their strongest prop. So, yeah, I think this will be for most of the team, but the Blues will definitely beat them within that area for sure. I would expect that really with the Blues caliber props. But more or less, yeah, the Blues should be dominant within that scrum for sure. Even with the hooker, I mean, Bradley Sutton, don't get me wrong, he's a good hooker, and actually he's a good replacement hooker for the Chiefs. But yeah, when you have Kurt Eklund, this is actually a battle Kurt Eklund could actually win. In a sense where he's actually one of the top try scorers, I believe, within the competition with 3 or 4 tries, I believe. So yeah, no, he's actually had a good season so far, and it's kind of what I expect from him because he's actually a solid hooker, and I think he should be the starting Blues hooker anyway. But more or less, the Blues love to change that position a lot. I would say the Blues win that front row really. I mean, when you go into the locks is kind of a, you could say, a closer battle in a sense where both teams don't actually have their best locks. Where obviously you do the likes of Sam Derry as well as Gerald Tuwadi. And they're both decent, but it's one of those where you have, with the Chiefs obviously you do have the likes of Josh Lord as well as Finnew, and both of them, both set of locks are pretty good, and I'd say they're up and coming locks for sure. But I'll edge towards the Blues just because they have a bit more experience within Super Rugby, particularly Gerald Tuwadi, and for that reason I'll give it to the Blues. But it's a very close battle because, to be fair, both of these locking pairs are not they don't have a lot of Super Rugby experience. Going into for the loose forwards. Loose forwards, I think, is an easier you could say decision to make because you do have the likes of Tom Robinson, who is the captain, of course, at that 6th position, and it's good to see him back from the side because obviously he was he did get injured within that Highlanders game, but yeah, he's obviously back from the side, which is great to see. At the 7th position, you do have the likes of Aiden Cho, which is good. He's actually returning back, and I believe the last game he played was against the. Could have been against the Crusaders, I might be wrong with that, but I think he played within that game, so it's good to see him back from the side. He definitely deserves a shout, and obviously this is the last game. It's not much up for grabs, so I can definitely see why he's being put within the side. And then obviously you do have the likes of Hoskins at 2-2, he's probably have been one of the standout loose forwards you can say throughout for the Blues in this competition. But when you do look at the likes of the Chiefs again, the Chiefs haven't actually put out a strong loose forward pack. I mean, they do have the likes of Sumukula, who is a decent loose forward in the sense where he's obviously playing at the number 8 position, but they haven't gone with the likes of Lochenbusher, or they haven't gone with the likes of who's the other one they normally go with? Even like Sam Kim obviously is injured, but yeah, they've gone with the likes of Tulani as well as Kapai, who I have seen Kapai play before I mean, both of them are actually in their debut for the Chiefs. So I actually have seen Kapai play within a matter of 10, but I haven't seen the other one, so we'll see how he does. But more or less, it should be interesting to see who wins that battle. I mean, I'd definitely edge it towards the Blues because they have a lot more experience again. I mean, going into the backs, obviously, for both sides, I mean, the backs is a similar situation where you do have the likes of Turangi, sorry, I always pronounce his name wrong, but he's the Chiefs' you could say All Black, you could say, and yeah, he's a decent scrum half, I'd say, for the Chiefs, and that combination obviously would bring Gatlin. But when you do look at the likes of the Blues, they do have the likes of Finlay Christie, who's coming back into the side, which is good to see. He's actually starting for once, which is what I prefer, actually, and I think he deserves that. And he'll be partnering up Aotearoa Black, who actually got on pretty early within that Crusaders match due to, I believe, was it Talea, who got injured very quickly, and Harry Palmer obviously had to shift into his position. But yeah, Aotearoa Black, Finlay Christie just filled me with a lot more confidence, so for that reason I'll edge it towards them. When you look at the centres is an interesting one in the sense where you do the likes of Pompey as well as Sean Manui, and Sean Manui is obviously the captain for the Chiefs in this game. But when you do look at the likes of the Blues, you do have the likes of Talea as well as Rigolani, and Rigolani has just been a beast, I say, so far within this competition. I wouldn't say he's been as standout, particularly within compared to last season's competition, to be frank, but he has been pretty well within that centre spot. So for that reason, I'm going to edge it towards the Blues, but that position actually is very closer than what you guys will think. So moving on to the wingers. The wingers is a very interesting one, obviously, with the Blues. You do the likes of Caleb Clark, who's at the 11 spot, but they've actually gone with Brees Him at that 14 spot, which is good to see, because obviously Mark Talea does need some rest time. But Brees Him, I believe the last game he played was against the Crusaders, in fact, so we'll see how he does within this game. But with the Chiefs, obviously, you do have the likes of Sean Stevenson at that 11 spot, and he's a decent wingers, don't get me wrong. And you do have the likes of Sullivan, I believe, at that 14 spot. And Sullivan just doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. I do believe he's played for the Chiefs before, and this wouldn't be his debut, but more or less, I just think both of them, they don't fill me as much confidence as Caleb Clark would, and for that reason, I'm going to edge towards the Blues again. Yeah, so for the last position, obviously, you do have the likes of I think it's Sullivan, actually another Sullivan, but this time for the Blues, and he's actually making his debut, which is good to see. I've definitely seen him within the Bible 10. He's a very good player. I'll be interested to see how he does, because obviously there's a lot of up and coming players within the Blues who are getting their chance, you could say, within this game. Particularly him for sure. It'll be very interesting to see how he does within that 15 spot. But he will be facing the likes of Caleb Trask within there, and it's going to be very surprising to say this, but Caleb Trask actually has a lot more Super Rugby experience, and for that reason, I'm actually going to edge it towards Caleb Trask. That's a weird one, and obviously he is replacing David McKenzie within this game. All of these players obviously are being rested for next week's game against the Crusaders, which is, to be fair, is probably the thing that I would do. But yeah, it's just one of those where, yeah, you can't do much about it. Yeah, that's going to be the game. I mean, if I had to say my prediction for this game, I mean, I'm going to easily go for the Blues. I mean, hopefully they don't let me down. I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think they'll edge it by, at least, I'll say by 10 points. So yeah, I'll say the Blues won this game by, I'll say, actually no, I'll even go with 12 points. I'll say 12 points. They'll win this game by 32 points to, no, I'm going to say 15. It's just one of those like where I want to say the Blues will win this by a lot. So I'll say 30 points to 15. Yeah, I'll say 30 points to 15 to the Blues will be my final prediction for this game. Anyway, just hope you guys have a good day. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.